during African Liberation Day. I'm really and truly excited at the fact that we do have youth in the room, because there's nothing that we can do in one generation. Well, this is going to be a generational move, and we've seen people do that everywhere. I remember reading about Adolf Hitler and the rise of the Mein Kampf and all that stuff. Adolf Hitler was saying, for us to take over and make sure that whites dominate the world, it's going to take generations of our people to bring this about. And inside of Germany at that time, there was a saying among the people inside of Germany: every woman gives a baby to the Fuhrer. Well, Hitler was the Fuhrer, and they were saying, every woman, you make at least one baby that you can send off to be inside of the Nazi regime. And I'm saying to folks that we never think about that. The only thing we think about here is our children getting a good education. Good education means a European education, so that they can get a good job. You know, good job means being a slave for some European corporation. We never talk about we got to prepare our children to take independence of African people and African nation. We don't prepare ourselves for that, and that's what we got to start doing. That's what African Liberation Day is all about. So we got to make sure that we bring those things into fruition. I wanted to just talk about very, very briefly, and then we'll move on. But there's a project that we have done, CPAC has done inside of the continent of Africa. One of our members went to Africa last summer. This was his second time going to Africa. He went last summer, and he just left us again this week and went back. And this time he'll be gone for an entire year. He says, I don't think he's coming back. But while he was there, he noticed that the town that he was in Tanzania, Arusha, Tanzania, that there was a problem with having clean water. And many times the people would have to send children miles and miles with buckets in their hands to get clean water and bring back to the community. Children had to take a day out of school to go get water and bring it back. And he and some other folks decided we can put together a water system where, at least in this city, folks can get clean water without having to go everywhere. He said the only thing they needed was money. They had the folks there who knew how to put the system together, knew how to make it work, and a lot had to do with rainwater, because in Arusha, it is a lot of rain in that particular part of Africa. They knew how to do it, but they just couldn't fund it. Our brother, Heru Uhuru, he called me and said, brother, can you help us get the money for it? We went right to work. And so the water project is up and running, and people don't have to send their children miles away to get clean water for the community anymore. And all we had to do was get money to do it. What we're gonna do, and when he went back, I told him, I said, get all of the projects you can find. We can't get up and go to Africa and work with them to do this and work with them to do that, but damn it, we can send some money. We can do that. So we're always telling our people, dig deep, pull it out of there, put the money in there, let it send to our people, because they need it. We here in America, we don't even think twice about getting some water. We just turn the spigot on and there it is. You know, but our people are suffering. So whether it's a water project, a food project, whatever the project is, we need to make sure that we are supporting our people wherever they are in the world. So the Tanzania project, and one of the things that happened was that this year, I believe it's going to happen Sunday, this year at African Liberation Day, there in Arusha, they are going to, we just lost one of our comrades last year. Baba Cherry Young worked with us in the rites of passage process for a number of years, over 2 decades. And we lost him. He died about 8-9 months ago. And what they're going to do at African Liberation Day this year in Arusha, Tanzania, they're going to dedicate the water project in the name of Cherry Young Sr. And that for us was one of the greatest things that they could have done for us. They said what we did for them was one of the greatest things we could have did for them. But that's what African unity is all about. See, that's my brother and that's my sister, and they recognize us as the same. We got a little saying. We say that if a brother in Accra, Ghana stomps his toe, a sister in Miami, Florida is supposed to say ouch. We make our brothers and sisters' problems our problems, and we solve them together. Those are the kinds of things that we're trying to do with CPAC, the Cincinnati Pan-African Coalition. And hopefully, before African Liberation Day is over, we have gotten some other donations from folks for our African projects. And folks will get some information, more information about what we are doing. We're going to set up a table someplace in the room that's going to have information about our organization, about the different groups in our organization, and you do have it in your program. For those who don't have a program sitting on your chair, we'll make sure somebody gets you a program. But we want to make sure you get information about that. And I have some stuff about African Liberation Day we're going to put in your hand, because one of the things that people have been asking me is, what is African Liberation Day? You know, we don't have to ask what is Christmas. We don't have to ask what is Oktoberfest. You know, we don't have to ask what is Cinco de Mayo. We don't have to ask what is St. Patrick's Day. We actually help them celebrate themselves when they celebrate their culture in their homeland. Those Germans celebrating Germany and German culture. When those Irish celebrate St. Patrick's Day, hell, we march in the parade with them. You know what I'm saying? But when we put on Kwanzaa, African Liberation Day, we got to just about beg people to come and participate. You know, we are the only ones that don't celebrate ourselves. This is a celebration of African people, African culture, and the African liberation struggle for justice. That's what African Liberation Day is all about. So